I always look at the Black Ops 1 Zombies lobby and I reminisce about times long gone, though I suppose it would actually be fucking terrifying for a person who's never played COD Zombies to look at me swooning over this. Ah, good times. There's a huge ass divide in the gaming industry regarding whether or not remakes and remasters are respectable things, though when it comes to zombies, ladies and gentlemen, Stockholm Syndrome is what it is. The biggest argument for why remakes and remasters should not even be approached is that remakes can go against and change the original art in general direction. Like, bro, we don't talk about the Silent Hill HD collection in this part of town, but
someone at fucking Hijinks Studios thought it was necessary to change the fucking font to Comic Sans in the HD version. Yeah, cause
Now the question is, as time passes by, would you even have the platform to play these old games? Because not only are the original games not sold anymore, backwards compatibility on consoles like the PlayStation 4 is an insult to actual backwards compatibility, and that's only regarding games from the 6th generation. What about games even older?
You play retro shooters because you feel nostalgic. I play it because I can't afford new ones. We are not the same.
If you have a PC, you have the option of emulating the good majority of these old but popular games, usually through totally legal methods. But even that has limitations, ladies and gentlemen, because when you take a game that's 8 or 16 bits, it's gonna look like donkey ass on your flat screen monitor or TV, because those games were meant to be played on CRT TVs, not modern flat screens. Now the reason this CRT looks all fucked up is because the camera is out of sync with this TV's refresh rate, for which the frames are constructed from top to bottom. Now the question is, are you a top? Or are you bottom? Look at this chilling minotaur walking towards you, sword in hand, displayed on CRT with surprisingly great detail for a source that has a resolution of less than 240p. Ever wonder what this would look like with modern emulation?
fuck no, baby!
So when you have an old game that uses pixel art, even if you had the option to play it with backwards compatibility or emulation, it would still go against the original art direction as the artist designed with CRT TVs in mind. So what's the solution?
Remake the whole thing, baby!
Nah, I'm fucking with you, because emulation now gives you the option to emulate the CRT look using shaders. And while you need a 4K monitor for it to even look similar, it beats not having an option to begin with. Hell, you might look at the non-shaded version and actually like it.
But hippie donkeys like myself would agree to disagree, ladies and gentlemen.
Break Fire and Paula.
More like ghetto ass deal.
I've had a good chuckle over that one. I'm coming after you.
The thing is that not everyone can emulate, not everyone has a PC, let alone a powerful one. And even if they did, the games that you can emulate from the 7th generation are, well, limited, as the PS3 and 360 emulators are still developing. So the only practical option that you have is to hope that the developers either re-release the original game on modern platforms or release a remaster/remake. And as it stands today, the popular option is to go ahead and do the latter, as it's been proven that it's better for the respective CEO's wallet. Now, remakes and remasters aren't necessarily always bad. Sometimes they even improve the original, believe it or not. And it's usually Blue Point Games that would do such a thing. I fucking love y'all bitches. But I'd be lying if I said that generally, remasters don't take something away from the original. For the maps in Zombies Chronicles, that's something was the atmosphere. The best way to make me spontaneously jizz in my pants is to show me a clip of Kino in Black Ops 1 with the subtle chimes of the chandeliers and the beautiful damn theme quietly playing in the background. The Black Ops 3 version though, through all of its questionable feats in turning art with a dreadful vibe into art that only has beauty going for it, it fails to bring that atmosphere. It fails to renew those dreadful feelings unique to each map.
Shit! Fuck me! What the fuck?
But maybe that's just nostalgia, ladies and gentlemen. And the funniest thing is that if you asked me impromptu whether I want to play the Black Ops 3 version of Kino or the original Black Ops 1, I would still pick the Black Ops 3 version. Even though to me, the best part of the original Verrückt is a frightful vibe throughout the whole map, I would still play the Black Ops 3 version where that whole ass vibe is just straight up missing. And that's just considering the atmosphere. I know someone is gonna mention how the story becomes better with the remasters, but yeah, I already know how God Zombies logos. But you didn't have to cut me off. And that's the funny thing about remasters. It can polish the mechanics, the sound design and what have you, but it will usually miss something. And it's unfortunate that that something was the heart when talking about remastered maps of zombies. The remakes are different beasts altogether. The principle of not following the original direction barely applies because having a different direction is, more often than not, the whole point behind remakes. When I think of Call of the Dead, I think of the ambient theme playing in the background, with the thumping sounds in the background making me feel like George Romero is slowly, dreadfully approaching me, with his occasional laughing breaking the pattern. But when I think of Tag the Totem though, I'ma be honest when I say that all that comes to mind is this clip of JC right here.
Is this like
the Insane Trilogy? That's an example of a different direction taken that still ends up being good. Half-Life Black Mesa, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Yakuza Kiwami. These are all remakes that bring out more gains than losses in regard to their original counterparts. Same thing with remasters like the KH remixes, the MGS collection, made by Bluepoint, and the Uncharted trilogy, also made by Bluepoint. The point stands that remakes don't make the originals disappear. If it fucks it all up, no one's stopping you from literally refusing to acknowledge its very mortal, useless existence. The problem only comes about when you don't even have the choice of experiencing the original to begin with.
Wait! Don't you know who I am? I have been victim of miracles on calamity!
If you asked me whether or not I want to see Ocarina of Time get remade in 4K Unreal Engine 120 FPS, no. What the fuck? The beauty of this game is that it can be emulated with the resolution upped, and the downside is that there are a total of 3 polygons in the whole game, which is completely fine, because while getting used to a low resolution of 240p or a low frame rate of 20 FPS is hard after you've gotten used to a higher standard, you can get used to a low polygon geometry the same way you can get immersed in indie titles that follow 2D art design. It's not meant to look photorealistic. It kind of follows the reason why a remaking of Mob of the Dead, a motherfucker of a map excelling in dread, ambience, sound design, atmosphere, level design, fucking all the above, should not be undertaken, as the original does not need practical improvement whatsoever. But unfortunately for gatekeepers and hippies the likes of myself, attracting new fans is one of the primary goals of these remastering projects, and perhaps it's the nostalgia that clouds the good points of every remaster. Leave aside Blood of the Dead though, that shit for real mid as fuck. Perhaps a newer fan would view the remastered version of Kino the same way I viewed the original, and if they ever make a remastered version of the remastered version of the original Kino, maybe that same newer fan would have the same arguments that I do right now. Maybe someone will get nostalgic over Death Stranding in the future, and I don't know how to feel about that if I'm being honest with you. Now, regardless of whichever sexuality you identify with or against remasters, there's a point to be made that tech advances with time. You would be able to undertake your ambitions in game development in ways you wouldn't be able to do years and years back, let alone decades. Updating old games to the level of today's standards with respect to the original direction is not a useless endeavor whatsoever. Regardless of whichever gang or mafia you belong to, I think we can all agree that having the Pentagon thief chase your ass in 5 really captured the feeling of having the local neighborhood sexual predator chase you when you were 5 years old, ladies and gentlemen.